There's something unsettling about childhood sleepovers. The giggles, the flashlights, the whispers, undercovers. It's the safest space in the world until it's not. On a spring morning in 2014, 3 12-year-old girls walked into the woods at the edge of the quiet Wisconsin suburb. Only 2 came out. What happened wasn't an accident. It wasn't a game gone wrong. It was planned, calculated, carried out in the name of something that doesn't exist. At least not in this world. Welcome back to Macabre Mondays, where mystery meets macabre with your favorite Deadly Mary duo. I'm Ale.
And I'm Tom.
Your guides through the strange, the sinister, and the wicked spooky, where I tell the stories and he gets dragged along for the ride. Typical wife and husband, okay?
I feel for all of you guys out there.
It is what it is, okay? If your wife has a fascination with all things sinister and strange and she wants you to listen to podcasts, just listen to it. Just listen to it.
It might be worth it.
It might be, honestly, okay?
There are nights I can't sleep, but it's okay. Yeah. We can see past it.
But think of all the great things that your wife or your partner that's interested in all things spooky, sinister, and strange, just imagine how happy it makes them. Come on, whatever. Anyways, let's jump right into today's episode. We're heading to Wisconsin.
Well, the Cheeseheads.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Green Bay Packers, Cheeseheads.
No, I would come from a different type of breed.
Wisconsin cheese cards.
No, I immediately, when I saw Wisconsin, I thought of what T-Pain, I'm going to put you in a mansion somewhere in Wisconsin. That's all I thought when I thought of Wisconsin.
You definitely were a Nork, baby.
What you mean?
Ooh, all right, got a game for you guys.
Got it.
Which one of us grew up on the East Coast versus which one of us grew up in the Midwest?
Anyways, today's case. No, you should let us know which one. No, you guys know. You guys know.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this one out.
How many people take the light bulb and don't need the bulbs?
And that's exactly why it doesn't take much to figure it out, because one of us just naturally has that twang.
Today's case isn't just eerie. Okay, Tom? It's surreal. You have no idea what we're talking about today. Like, you never do.
I was going to say, no. Do I ever any week?
Never any week. Well, today's case is super eerie, super surreal. Because
and last week's wasn't?
It wasn't, which, by the way, listeners, episode, awesome. What did we all think?
We killed it.
What do we all think?
I was terrified.
I thought it was so great. I can't wait for you guys to keep submitting more stories because I want to do...
Can you guys chill, though? Like, maybe just knock it down a notch.
Maybe not so scary. Okay, chill. No.
Don't
make
lie.
It as scary
as possible.
Them to go,
exactly.
Yeah, no, I do. And a lot of people have responded. A lot of people have responded and said, sorry, not sorry, Tom, but what can we do? What can we do?
Hey, if I'm here, other husbands around the world... You guys are getting dragged along with me. I'm not going down by myself.
Yeah, or other partners, you know.
Or partners,
yeah. Partners, yeah.
Vice versa.
We don't care.
Flip or flop.
We don't care, baby. Love is love. Okay, we're not talking about a cult. We're not talking about a serial killer. Today, we're talking about a modern-day urban legend.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an idea of what I'm talking about?
I have no idea.
We are talking about... Slender Man.
Oh, God.
Do you know of him?
I've heard of him. I have no idea who the fuck he is. There's a reason I don't know half this shit.
What have you heard about him?
I don't know.
I mean, he's like I feel like everyone has heard about him. Not everybody, but most.
I don't know who the hell he is. I've associated Slender Man with like basically like a Gumby. That's how I associate him because I think of Slender and I'm like,
yeah.
He sounds like he's almost, you know who he sounds like? Luffy. From One Piece.
Yeah, very
he
stretchy.
Sounds like he's stretchy and can be all like morphy and shit.
He gives me a lanky, tall boy, Mrs. Incredible. Yeah. That's the vibe that I get. Well, for those of you who don't really know much about Slender Man, which Tom doesn't clearly, so this is going to be a great episode for him. He's never been a part of a ancient folklore or a centuries-old horror tale like the Bloody Mary or La Llorona, Candyman. Or I'm trying to think of another, whatever. It doesn't matter. Regardless, he doesn't come. He's not old money. Okay. He's new money. We're talking new modern day and age urban legend.
Modern boy.
Very modern boy. Because Slender Man.
Wait, so like what century? I guess we're going to get into this.
It's going to be this century. What is it? 21st century?
I think.
Oh, we're going to get into it, though.
In the 21st century? Yeah,
this
whatever.
Is the 21st century. Can you stop doing that? My goodness.
Sorry.
Okay. Slender Man is a tall, faceless figure, often described as disturbingly thin, like we said, and he's dressed in this very spiffy black suit, but he has no face. And he's also, it's like the Blue Man Group, but if it were the White Man Group, and they wore
black
tie suits.
Okay.
Yeah. So kind of spooky though, right? And it's also very eerie.
Yeah. Sounds like a rich person trying to kill me.
And it goes yeah, exactly. And it's very eerie because he could be anything and anybody, really, in reality.
Not liking this already.
Yeah, I know you're not.
Especially
go to slide 4.
Kids stuff. Yo, you know who he looks like? Hitman. But really
Hitman
tall
from
and
who?
lanky. No, like the Hitman from, I can't think of his name. Agent something.
I've never heard of it.
No, the video game. Hitman.
No. Oh, when he's got the fedora?
Yeah, he's the bald guy.
Yes. I think I know who you're talking about.
He's got a barcode on the back of his head.
You know who he also reminds me of? Does anybody, or do you remember Salad Fingers?
What the hell?
Yo, you don't remember Salad Fingers growing up? He was creepy.
No.
It was very creepy. He's like,
once again, probably a reason I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's true. Well, anyways, that'll be a short story that I could tell. In different versions of the story of Slender Man, his arms can stretch impossibly far, and some say that he has tentacle-like arms that extend from his back. Now, according to online lore, just seeing him can cause memory loss, paranoia, insomnia, and even coughing fits.
And so you're showing me photos of him?
Well, he's an urban legend. Well, he's a new modern day urban legend. And it's kind of crazy because all those ailments that I just described, fans have nicknamed it Slender Sickness, which to me,
God,
it just sounds like a day where I'm just a little sicky to this tummy. You know? I gotta eat soup and crackers kind of day, right?
It doesn't sound like that to me. This sounds like oh, you're screwed, buddy.
Yeah, but you gotta think about it. He's skinny.
You're screwed.
How does he,
buddy.
how does he stay that slim figure? Cameras tend to glitch around him, and he's known to appear in photographs or videos where he shouldn't be. He apparently can vanish in an instant, and many believe that he has the ability to teleport. Now, why are we talking about Slender Man, you ask, right? Because what does this modern day boogeyman, why are we talking about him today? You want to give me a guess?
Because that's the whole point of our podcast.
That's right. No. But sadly, this modern day boogeyman was actually the cause of an attempted murder case.
Get the
Dun dun dun. Are you ready to get into it?
No, I already have a headache now, and I'm thinking it's him. Like I'm already not enjoying this week.
Okay, I need you to put up your big boy pants.
I'm already wearing them. They're swimming trunks.
They are. You are. All right, you ready to jump in?
I guess.
Now, in order to understand what happened, we're traveling back in time because we're time travelers, remember? Not to 2014 when the attack occurred, but we're going back in time to 2009 when Slender Man, or Boy Slendy, was born.
The way you said that, we're going back. It's as if that was a long time ago, and it really feels like it was 4 years ago. But it was a lot longer than then.
I think 4 years ago it was after COVID already.
Dude, I was in middle school at that time.
Well, you might have some things in common with these people that we're going to be talking about today.
No, I don't like this.
Slender Man was born on a website called Something Awful. Now, have you ever heard of that? Okay.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
I used to be obsessed with, you know what? I was terrified of other things, but the dark web and creepy websites like this, loved.
Wow, okay. Well, we just had a different agenda when it came to creepy. Something Awful is this American comedic website hosting content including blog entries, forums, they feature articles. There's also digitally edited pictures that people add, and there's a lot of humorous media reviews or whatnot. So it also reminded me of Reddit, which it kind of falls under the same
premise. Yeah.
Premise, right? They're both different in their own way.
It's like Quora, like all of those.
Yeah. So Something Awful actually hosted a Photoshop contest. And the goal was to create the most convincing paranormal image. People submitted spooky edits, but one stood out in particular. A black and white photo of children playing in a playground with a tall, faceless figure lurking in the background, dressed in a suit and possibly thin, with tendrils creeping from his back, arms creeping from his back. He kind of reminds me of, and he's kind of given the vibe, what is that villain in the OG Spider-Man?
Oh.
Yeah, what you know which one I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Octagon? I have a feeling it's with an O, not Venom. OG, we're talking Spider-Man 1. We're talking the only Spider-Man that actually looked a lot older than the ones that they're casting now. You know who I'm talking about, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, that's one photo. And the other is this little kid climbing up that ladder to a slide. Mm-hmm. You see the slimy, Slendy Man in the background? Okay. So these are the two photos that were entered and submitted for the submission. The creator, Eric Knudsen, known online as Victor Surge, captioned the image with eerie snippets that hinted at missing children and unseen forces. The figure became known as who we know today as Slender Man. I also read somewhere that the photos also had a sort of a backstory when he submitted them that were super spooky, and that those kids in that photograph that you're seeing, which by the way I'll add into socials of course, was supposedly captured the day before those 14 kids miraculously went missing and disappeared.
Jesus.
Right. So that's the storyline. We're already starting off with our base foundation for who Slender Man is and how he was born.
This guy don't miss.
He don't miss. And super creepy because the photo is actually kind of eerie. And when you look at it, I'm like, what's going on there? That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't like it.
And it's like what started as a joke quickly spiraled into this online legend. And people were running with it, okay? I'm talking about people were adding stories to him, fan art. They started saying that they were supposedly seeing sightings of him in different places around the world. He became a big figure on Reddit's creepypasta. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, you've told me about it multiple times.
Plenty of times now. But if you've never heard of the term creepypasta, it's basically short horror stories that get shared online, kind of like a spooky chain letters for the digital age. The name comes from copypasta, which just means blocks of text that people copy and paste across the internet. But creepypastas are the scary version of that. They're meant to creep you out like modern day campfire stories told through your phone, except being outside with a flashlight, right? Now, one of the places where these stories spread the most is the site called Reddit, which basically just a massive collection of forums where people gather based on the shared interest that they have. So kind of similar to Something Awful, but different. Now, each forum is called a subreddit, and there's literally a subreddit for just about everything and anything that you can think of, okay? Including an entire community dedicated to horror fiction and creepypasta stories. So this is huge.
Are you a member?
Yeah, I'm an active user on that.
Had a feeling.
I'm an active user on that. And that's exactly where Slender Man's lore really started to evolve, and it started taking a life of its own. On Reddit's creepypasta, users started to discuss and post stories meant to disturb the whole premise, right? They were creating ritual games, haunted items, cursed websites, cryptids. Slender Man became the most iconic figures in that community. Now, users talked about him as if he were folklore, but like I said, he's not, right? I mean, well, nowadays he is, but
yeah.
In these communities, they were debating what his weaknesses were, describing how you can summon him.
So like literally creating
a
like
whole character, a whole story. Exactly. Yeah. And then adding more to it through the decades, and people are in, so now he's got like this whole brand guideline book of who he is as a person, what he likes, what font he writes in, backstory and everything. So people were going the font, he
prefers Times New Roman. He's a classic man.
He's a classic old timey. Now, Wiki, have you ever heard of?
Yes.
Okay. As Slender Man's legend grew, fans started building an entire digital universe around this one man. Okay. Now, one of the biggest places this happened was on the Slender Man Wiki. It is fan-run site where people could read, write, and catalog all things related to a myth. Now, it wasn't just a place to rehash the original photo or story, because people were starting to flesh out even more details of who Slender Man was. and what he could do, where he was said to appear, and how he interacted with his proxies.
Okay.
The wiki became this sort of creepy encyclopedia for him, and people added timelines, origin theories, photos, sighting reports, and even crossover content from different Slender Man-inspired projects, like Marble Hornets and Tribe 12. Now, have you ever heard of those?
No.
Okay, well, they're YouTube channels, and I mean, if you got to think about it, this is 2009. This is probably before ads were even a thing, okay? Yeah. If anybody's listening to this and they've never used YouTube where there were no ads, you're too young to be on this podcast right now. Please step off. Okay.
Was Tom, and not me, Tom, the other Tom, was he your friend?
MySpace.
Oh, well, now you gave it away, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, clearly, if you didn't get answer
one right. Our audience knew who the other Tom is. Exactly. There's only one other Tom.
Exactly. Now, it gave the myth even more structure, okay? It turned Slender Man from this one-off image into a character with rules, with lore, and with tons of layers. And because anyone could contribute to the wiki, okay, anybody, me or you, could just go on there and add, like, he likes the color pink on Tuesdays, and he likes cinnamon roll buns for breakfast, you know.
Specifically the Cinnabon versions.
The story's constantly evolving. So new users started adding theories, character breakdowns. They started even adding rituals and warnings that you should do to avoid somehow summoning Slender Man. Now, there were tons of spin-offs that came about Slender Man's legend. I mean, there's short films out there, there's indie horror games, and there are YouTube channels that are dedicated to just him. But none of them had the kind of influence that Marble Hornets did. Now, this YouTube channel launched in June of 2009, just 10 days after Slender Man was born.
Interesting.
And it was created by 3 college students.
Okay.
The series was filmed in this found footage style, kind of just like the Blair Witch Project.
I was thinking Hell House.
Or Hell House. Oh my God, that is such a good
Hell House LLC, baby.
If you guys have not seen Hell House LLC.
There's 3 of them.
I think there's 4 now.
There's 4?
Yeah, because they created the most recent
one.
It is so freaking good. If you like the Blair Witch Project and you love all things into haunted houses, boy, this is such a good. That's such a good movie. But so
it's
think
even
about
scarier
that.
than like VHS.
Yeah, yes, and VHS is spooky too. Spooky. But if you are into that, this is pretty much what that type of YouTube series was. Okay. And they even started promoting it like it was real, which
we like that.
Right. But if you remember, even the Blair Witch Project, when they first launched it, they were advertising it like it was real. You never really saw the actors. Yeah. You didn't, because
they were all, nobody was an A-list actor. No one was well known.
Right. And they're trying to sell it as this is a real found footage. And remember at the end of Blair Witch, nobody made it out alive.
We had the same damn thought when we were watching Hell House the first time.
Yes.
I think it was you, me, and your brother, and we were looking at each other like, did we just witness a murder?
I know. I'm like, is this for real right now? This is kind of scary. And I remember there's times I'm like, I can't look. It's too creepy, man. I got to look away. I got to look through my hands. Well, in the series, Slender Man is reimagined as this figure called the Operator. And the story follows a college student who starts digging through a box of old videotapes from a canceled student's film project. As he watches, things get weird. There's static, audio glitches, the camera freaks out, and in the background of some of the clips, there he is, Slendy, our boy, just standing from afar, staring off at him. Pretty much everything that you're reading off of the wiki. Mm-hmm. Now, this YouTube channel gave Slender Man pretty much the start of his lore. The whole figure who causes madness, recruits proxies, and the proxies are the humans under his control, and he also lives in the woods. In a mansion, apparently.
Like, damn.
In a mansion, not a cabin.
Is it John Wick?
No, imagine. That's insane. But it's crazy because the most prominent thing that I have to mention about Slender Man, and I just wanted to give you a good backstory there because there's so much behind this, and it's all going to work hand in hand when we start talking more. The one thing to mention is that he is said to stalk and abduct children, mainly children.
Not blonde-haired children, though, right?
I don't know. He might abduct you. I don't think he's got preferences.
Damn.
He needs proxies, baby. He's not going to be picky and choosy, okay?
I mean, I was friends with Bloody Mary already, so sorry.
True.
I was already taken as a proxy.
So that's probably why you weren't even confronted. And it's funny because if you saw him once, you'd apparently be marked forever. And while most people knew that this was just fiction, not everybody did. And for young kids who are learning about these scary topics, like kids do, aka I was doing that as a kid, there were a lot of impressionable minds scrolling through these stories late at night.
I would have been one of them.
Right. And honestly, at that age, you're not really, you don't know what's real and what isn't. You could believe it, but you didn't. So it's very impressionable minds. And for two 12-year-old girls in Waukesha, Wisconsin, I keep saying that wrong, I feel, but Waukesha.
Yosemite.
Okay, well, Sharkeisha. Anyways, Waukesha, Wisconsin, he became their idol.
Okay.
All right, now let's travel forward to 2014. In Waukesha, Wisconsin, it was a quiet suburban town where the biggest excitement was usually the school science fair or a trip to the skating rink. Now, it's a really cute town. It's got 70,000 residents, lots of family, lots of good schools and forests, and it's 15 miles from Milwaukee. Waukesha, have you ever heard much about Waukesha?
No, I keep wanting to think of like Waco, Texas, but
yeah, that's a little bit completely opposite there. Well, it's actually the you're going to love this. I saw that it's the birthplace of
the cheese curd
of Les Paul. Yeah, you see? Maybe if you just give me a second to tell you, you gotta be all silly all the time.
You know who plays a Les Paul? Slash.
Oh, I was going to say my dad.
He played a Les Paul 49 or 59 custom.
Okay, that's
I got to touch it in London.
I know you did. I was there. That was really cool, actually. And we got to hang out in the area where a bunch of them snort crack cocaine off of strippers' breasts and stuff. There's a lot of tense energy down there, but it was great. I loved it.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I thought you were really gonna like that. It was really cool. I learned so much about Waukesha while I was researching this because it has a really, really rich history. I'm not going to go into it or whatnot, but it used to be called a resort town as well.
A resort town in the middle of like Wisconsin?
Yeah, it seems like it was a place that a lot of people moved to because it was quiet, it was quaint, and it's also really cute. It has some rivers and whatnot. It's very beautiful.
All right, kids, let's go to...
You can go to slide 5.
Oh, that looks...
It's really cute. It looks like a place that a Hallmark movie would be filmed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Small town.
It reminds me of like Brown County.
Yeah, in Indiana. Yeah, kind of. Now, there were 3 6th grade girls who were navigating their usual preteen terrain, having sleepovers, building friendship bracelets, playing with dolls, swapping their stories, so you can imagine. Now, the first girl I'm going to introduce is Morgan Geyser, the birthday girl. She had a vivid imagination and a love for fantasy. She could be quiet, often drifting off into her own world during conversations. She wasn't the most popular, though. I did read that she did get bullied, but she didn't really seem to care. Her mind always seemed to be somewhere else. Okay. Then our second girl that I'm going to introduce is Anissa Weier. A little more reserved, a little more anxious. She was newer to the group because she had transferred schools there in 6th grade and didn't have many friends. Her mom actually stated that she was very bullied as well. And so that's probably why I
feel that.
Yeah, I know. But she clicked with Morgan really quickly, and the two bonded over a lot of shared interests like the strange and the unexplained. They both liked horror stories.
Okay.
And I mean, if you think about it, they were both bullied. So they're kind of gravitating towards each other. And then there was our third girl, Payton Leutner. Her nickname is actually Bella, so I might be referring to her as Bella and Payton as going forward, but that was pretty much what everybody called her, as Bella.
And then you mentioned Bella, I thought of Bella.
Where the hell you been, Loca? I love that. Yeah, I love that. I know, anytime I think of Bella, I think of Twilight. It's just not the same anymore. She was the warm one, outgoing, bubbly, very hopeful, very positive, an animal lover. She saw the good in people. I mean, the complete opposite of the other two. But she had been close to Morgan since kindergarten. She also had stuck up for Morgan in the earlier years by kids that were trying to bully her. And she said that she was drawn to Morgan because she was a bit of a loner and she didn't want her to be alone because she saw that she didn't really have any friends. So that's the type of person and friend that Bella is. Okay. And there was a point in the trio friendship group where things just started to feel off. They were keeping Bella out of some things, but Bella stuck around because she's like, whatever. And if you've ever been in...
You stay close even if your friend group somewhat I don't want to say cut you off, but just,
right,
you know.
right. You're just like, okay, whatever, like not a big deal. We're all
you guys
friends.
are really all I got. So,
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
You know. Yeah.
So the three of them formed a little circle of this, unlikely blend of personalities that somehow worked. But under the surface, things were shifting. Morgan and Anissa weren't just swapping scary horror stories. They were immersing themselves in Slender Man, the world of Slender Man.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I see where this is going.
Now here's an important detail that sets everything into motion moving forward. Anissa was actually the one who first introduced Morgan to Slender Man. She had already stumbled across the stories online. A lot of creepypasta threads, drawings, the whole eerie,
shebang.
Yeah, the whole shebang. The whole bang. She was obsessed with Slender Man, and once the two of them became close, she brought Morgan into that world. She's interested in it first, right?
Yeah.
Now, at first, it probably felt like a shared interest, just two kids with these wild imaginations and a love for scary stories. But quickly, it became more than that. Anissa believed the stories were real, and Morgan, she didn't just believe it, it was starting to become a part of her reality.
Okay.
They would read creepypasta forums late into the night. They would read the wiki. They would whisper about about Slender Man, trading theories, getting deeper into this world.
I can just see this, like sleepovers late at night.
Yeah, which to me, I'm like,
Pizza Hut pizza or like a 12-pack of tacos.
Right, exactly. And it's 12-pack of tacos.
Yo, Taco Bell.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Sponsor us.
And it's funny because I think about any time I was hanging out with friends, or if I went camping, or even now, now that I'm older, what is all that I ever want to do?
Stay up until 5 a.m. reading Reddit. Oh, is that no? Because I'm pretty sure I live with you. I see what you do.
Just fucking call me out. Just at me next time. Just at me next time.
You act like you're going to bed, but then I wake up in the middle of the night to you listening to creepy shit.
Exactly. Well, yeah. So if you think about it, yeah, not every night, but yeah, most nights. Sure, whatever. And plus, I read my scary books. So, but you see what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I'm still over. So if you think about it, really dope.
Yeah.
Now they were becoming obsessed with the skinny man, okay? And they believed that to become Slender Man's proxies, his loyal followers, they had to prove their devotion.
I'm telling you, I feel like I know where this is going.
Okay. Online lore said that proxies were chosen after acts of violence, usually a sacrifice of some sort.
Oh, shit.
Oh, is that not where you thought we were going?
Well, somewhat, but not at this age.
You're God damn.
No, I guess I was thinking, like Ghostface and how so many people would try to.
Oh, like continue.
Yeah, but they wouldn't ever actually. Some of them wouldn't kill someone. They would actually just be like, ah. And then,
what is it in SpongeBob? The
hash slinging slasher.
That's exactly what you were thinking. No, baby, this is Macabre Mondays, okay? We don't fucking talk about the little itty bitty moment.
Well, damn.
What the hell?
Oh, no, not this again.
Some said he rewards you with protection. Others claimed that he'd bring them down to live with him in the forest at his mansion in Wisconsin.
Damn. You got good Wi-Fi?
Yo, free mortgage? I'm down with that.
You got
what kind of food games? What kind of games you got?
What kind of grill you got? You got a smoker too?
I feel like I'd show up and be like, yo, nobody takes care of the house? Like, nobody mows the lawn?
You don't have a maid? What kind of rich are you?
Where's the Bath and Body hand-scented? What is this ghetto ass? I grew up out of that. I'm not doing that no more.
And then he kills you.
No, I'm his proxy.
Yeah, but then he'd be upset with how you just dissed his house.
I didn't diss his house. He might take that as a compliment. I was like, yo, have you ever seen HGTV? I'm gonna introduce you to something. I'm gonna introduce you to something good.
Then he would kill you. He'd be like, nah, stop playing house in my house.
I'd be like, yo, Slendy, are you flirting with me? Stop. Why are you flirting with me? No, I'm not gonna leave. Either way, Morgan and Anissa were convinced the only way to earn his favor was to kill. And Bella was going to be the proof of that.
I don't like this. So...
You ready?
So she did.
Let's move forward.
Jesus Christ.
It started like any ordinary birthday. Remember, it's Morgan's birthday. On May 30th of 2014, Morgan invited her 2 friends, Anna and Bella, over to her house for a birthday sleepover, slumber party.
Yay.
She had just turned 12. The night was filled with everything you'd expect from a middle school girl's birthday party, okay? Now, Bella had been to Morgan's house countless times before because remember, she's been friends with Morgan since kindergarten. And so this was nothing new, except this time it was. What Bella didn't know was that Morgan and Anissa had been planning something for weeks. Actually, 6 months.
Sorry. 6 whole fucking months?
Yeah, 6 whole months.
I'm sorry, what middle schooler also... Sorry, this is completely different. What middle schooler can keep a fucking secret for 6 months?
Well, in their eyes, Bella was the perfect target. Someone close enough to trust them and someone accessible. They didn't have many friends, clearly, and Bella was one of the only ones who stuck around, so...
Damn.
Which is insane because Morgan, who was her friend, said that she was pretty much an easy target. That's literally what she said.
Damn.
I know. Now, Morgan and Anissa actually speak in code. So you know how you were saying like how you know how you were saying how would they keep a secret that long?
Yep.
Well, they started speaking in code so no one would catch on, and Anissa had explained what the code was. So if they used the word knife, they would call it cracker.
Oh.
If they used the word kill, they would say itching.
Wonderful.
Well, they would even talk about this on the school bus, for example. So if someone were to overhear them talking, it would just probably sound like
they're
weird ass kids talking about.
I can't wait to use my cracker to itch that scratch.
No, literally. So now by the time Bella arrived for Morgan's birthday sleepover, they had not 1, not 2, but 3 different plans for how they were going to sacrifice and kill her.
Damn. Yo, this is some complex shit for a middle schooler.
The first plan was simple. Wait until Bella is asleep and stab her in the night. Morgan had stolen a knife from her kitchen, roughly 5 inches long, and that's the blade. Just the blade. We're not talking handle. That's the blade. And hid it in her belongings. That night, the plan was to wait until Bella was asleep, duct tape her mouth. Trigger warning, everybody. Trigger warning.
Good.
That night, the plan was to wait until Bella was asleep, duct tape her mouth, stab her in the neck, and run.
What the fuck?
Morgan even set an alarm so she could wake up in the middle of the night and make it happen. Anissa said she read somewhere online that it was easier to kill someone when they were sleeping and not look them in the eyes.
This is... I'm a little speechless right now because this is middle schoolers.
We're talking 12-year-olds. I know. Just wait because I know. A lot of people felt the same way.
What do you... I will say, I also keep looking at the photo and I'm like, yeah, she looks like she doesn't belong. Like she looks...
Bella?
Yeah, Bella.
Well, yeah, Bella, yeah. She's the complete opposite of the other two, and it's, yeah.
Damn.
I know.
All right, I guess keep going.
I guess.
I mean, I don't think I have a choice, but...
Well, by the time that 2 a.m., like she put the alarm on for around like 2 a.m. By the time that time came and they woke up, they were too tired. So Morgan said that they just simply didn't wake up in time. And so they scratched the plan. They're like, we're scratching that. Let's move on.
Scratch that itch.
Yeah, scratch that itch, okay? Hide that cracker, baby. So plan 2, okay? We're moving on to plan 2. The next morning around 5 a.m., the girls woke up and got dressed. Still in dress-up mode. I mean, I was reading that Bella was wearing the same pink dress gown, that they were kind of playing dress up the weekend. And the whole time, Morgan and Anissa are whispering to each other about a new plan of how to kill her. I mean, I know. Now this time they decided they'd kill her in the bathroom at the park nearby. I think it was called David's Park.
Okay.
They thought it was perfect. You want to know why?
Why?
Well, because they were like, oh, there's a drain in the stalls. So when we stab her, the blood would just flow into it and not make a mess, and nobody would see her.
Yo, get the fuck out of here!
I know. Now we're getting deliberate. Now we're getting.
This is what is it? What
premeditated?
Is that? Yeah.
Yes. That's what I mean. Like now we're getting deliberate.
Premeditated.
Yeah, mad
Jesus
premeditated.
Christ, dude.
The way that she described it later on, it like so matter of fact, it was terrifying because when she, I'm gonna post videos where I can, and I'll post the links, but that's literally what she says about, oh yeah, there's a drain in the stall. Girl.
Who thinks of that
Sis.
shit?
The hell is that? Now, that morning, they asked Morgan's mom if they could go play at the park. Now, usually Morgan wasn't allowed to go to the park by herself because one of the parents would always have to go with her.
Makes sense.
Right, makes sense, valid. But since it was her birthday, her mom agreed, you know what? You guys can go without any parents. Now, once they got to the park, Morgan and Anissa were passing the knife back and forth. Bella obviously doesn't know what's going on.
Get the fuck.
And they started, when they got to the bathroom, they were passing the knife back and forth, trying to work up the nerve. Now, they were planning on killing her in the bathroom stall, right? In the drain, because they're so smart.
Just drain right on out.
Right.
So yeah, fuck it.
Anissa even tried to knock Bella out using her hand closed fist. Yeah, so like if you were to, how do you describe this motion?
Swinging your fist?
Swinging your fist. That's perfect. Yeah, exactly. Swinging her fist, using her hand closed, hitting her in the forehead. Because remember, she read online that it was easier to kill someone when they were asleep or unconscious. Right. But the plan, I know, and the plan unraveled again. Bella was clearly confused because she just got hit. She was hurt. She was also mad because the fuck?
The fuck you hit me for?
Yeah, what the hell are you hitting me for? But she still didn't suspect how serious things were going to get. I mean, honestly, no one will, and you'll see.
Who the fuck's gonna think their own friends are gonna try to kill them?
Right, and especially
or are plotting to kill them
for 6 months.
Get the fuck out of here,
to be some dusty man's proxy.
Like the fuck?
Yeah. So they ended up walking out of the bathroom back into the park, and they were kind of stalling, trying to figure out how to execute this. Bella, I mean, even though that happened, she's like brushing it off. She goes on next. Yeah.
Like anyone.
Right. Exactly. And I feel like at that age, what the hell can you even expect? I wouldn't be thinking that.
No.
You know, I'd just be thinking like, what the fuck? But anyways.
I'd be like, okay, fucking weirdo.
Now, plan 3. Eventually, Anissa pointed to this thicket of trees near Big Bend Road in the park. And she said that, hey, let's go bird watching. Let's go move over there. Morgan later ends up telling the police that later, people who you trust are very gullible.
Yo. Are we sure they're 12?
I know. They sound like they're in their... Let's get into it.
Yeah. This is deep thinking. I'm sorry.
It really is. Morgan and Anissa suggested playing hide and seek. Morgan would count while Bella and Anissa hid. But clearly that's going to be a setup because how the hell else are they going to be able to do what they need to do? Morgan and Anissa were obviously going to kill her. Anissa was getting scared to do it. So she handed Morgan the knife and Morgan was like, all right, I'll do it. Just tell me when. They led Bella off the path deeper into the woods under the pretense of hiding to play hide and seek. They told her to lie down and cover herself with leaves to, hey, like we're trying to hide.
That way we can kill you and then,
your
body's already covered up. We don't have to do anything.
Right, and Bella hesitated. She felt like something was off, but she laid down anyways. I mean, at this point and you're also 12. Like, I feel like at that age... Again, impressionable minds. I didn't even know what stabbing someone even meant at that age or what that just wasn't a thing. So I can't even imagine. She's probably like, they're acting so fucking weird, but again, they are weird. So maybe, I don't know.
That's fucking wild.
Now they were about 5 feet away from Bella and they were talking in low whisper. And as they came closer to where Bella was laying, trigger warning, Morgan climbed on top of her and started stabbing her. Once, twice, again, and again.
Holy shit.
19 times.
What the fuck?
Her arm, her legs, her stomach.
That's...
overkill.
That takes me back to the Lemon murders.
Yeah, very true.
What the fuck?
After they attacked her, Bella screamed, begged them to stop. Morgan said nothing, but in the end, Morgan and Anissa told her, listen, stay where you are. We're going to go get help. But that was a lie.
Obviously.
They ended up walking away, calm and collected, covered in dirt and blood. Their plan now was to walk to the Nicollet National Forest, which was more than 300 miles away from where they were at.
Okay, so maybe
They're gonna do it.
You know, they are 12 if they're thinking they're walking 300 fucking miles.
Well, and it's funny because in one of the in the interrogation video, Anissa, she asked the detective, how long did I walk? Because I didn't think that I could walk that far. Like, she was really preoccupied about...
He's like, you walked 2 miles.
No, she even tells her, the detective was a woman that was talking to Anissa, and she's like, why are you asking something like that? And Anissa's like, well, I'm not very athletic.
Yo.
Girl. Sis. Okay. Settle down. They believed that Slender Man lived in Nicollet National Forest. They even thought that if they could reach his mansion in Wisconsin,
they'd be set.
He'd let them in. He'd be like, yo, knock, knock. It was me. That was me. Sorry. That was
Motherfucker.
me. Mobby. I got too excited. But yeah, they thought he's like, yo, he's going to let me in. He's going to be like, yo, proxy number 1, proxy number 2.
Cops ain't getting us now. We made it to Safe House.
We made it, baby.
I'm touching base. Sorry. You can't touch me.
Thankfully, fortunately, Bella wasn't gone.
Oh, thank the fucking Lord.
Bleeding and in shock, she crawled out of the woods, dragging herself to a nearby bike path, and a man named Greg Steinberg, riding by, spotted her. And he even says in an ABC interview that once Bella saw him, she said, please, can you help me? I've been stabbed multiple times. And he called 911.
Bro.
I know. And that's when they called 911. And it is also crazy because he actually never takes this route when he bikes there. And that day he decided to go.
So it was just gift of God.
Yeah. And he decided to go down the bike path where she was found. But that bike path was actually chained off. So people weren't really supposed to be riding that way, but it was chained off. And then he spotted her.
You see what I did there?
No, what you did?
It's a chain reaction.
Oh, look at you!
Bypass chained off. A chain reaction.
Oh God, you're gonna be a great dad. Great dad. But that's what I thought was crazy because he even says in the interview, but he tells him they're in the area of where he found her. And he's like, I just wasn't even supposed to go this way. And I couldn't even believe what I was seeing, what I was hearing.
There's so much brush in that area too.
There is, exactly.
Especially depending on how fast you're riding. You could have probably easily just...
Yeah, that's true.
Because think about it. When you're riding the bike, you don't
That's what I mean.
always look around. You're usually just kind of...
There's no such thing as coincidences, okay?
No.
That was a sleight of hand. That was crazy. She talks about how she doesn't really remember much leading up to the attack because, I mean, imagine the trauma and...
No shit.
Yeah, I can't even...
You blocked out everything.
For sure. But she did say that she didn't feel anything when they were stabbing her. So, and she believes it was definitely shock and adrenaline because what the fuck was going on?
Well, yeah.
Right. And honestly, what a fighter because... That's tough, especially at that age. I don't even understand things fully.
No, for real.
My brain is still developing. I'm still even trying to understand.
I was learning how to type faster and send emails at that time.
Yo, seriously. I was playing Club Penguin at that time.
No, for real.
That's a good one.
That was the shit.
911. What's the address of your emergency?
Waukesha County, Lindy. I'm transferring over a caller on Big Bend at the dead end just south of Rivera.
Okay.
Came upon a 12-year-old female. She appears to be stabbed.
She appears to be what?
Stabbed.
Stabbed?
Correct.
Okay.
Sir, you still there?
Yes.
Hi, sir. So, are you with this 12-year-old female?
Yes. She says she's having trouble breathing. She said she was stabbed multiple times.
Stabbed multiple times?
Yes.
Okay, sir. Are you with her right now?
Yes.
Is she awake?
She's awake.
Is she breathing?
Yeah, she's breathing. She said she can take shallow breaths. She's alert.
Okay, stay with her. We're sending the police department. Don't hang up, okay?
Oh,
hold on just a minute. Don't hang up.
Okay.
Okay. Hold on just a minute, sir. We're sending officers.
Okay.
Is there any assailant around?
I didn't even look. I don't see anybody.
It's a dead end. Okay, stay right with her, sir. Is she on the ground or is she standing up?
No, she's laying on the grass.
Laying on the grass. Stay right with her. Just let me know if she is remaining conscious or not, okay?
Okay.
Is there any bleeding going on?
Her clothing has got blood on it.
Where are the wounds? Do you see where the wounds are?
No, I don't know if I should be rolling her over and checking or not. Do you know where?
Okay, just stay with her and just let me know if she's conscious or alert or stops breathing or anything. Hold on, I'm going to talk to the ambulance. Police are also en route.
Okay, thank you. I'm bothering you at all? My shade? Okay. You're very
Copy. Okay. Just keep her in that position. Just let me know on her breathing.
Okay.
What's your name, sir?
My name?
Your name.
My name.
Okay, were you just passing through?
Yes.
Okay, and you found her and she was just laying there?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so you see any active bleeding or blood spurting out or anything like that?
No, unless it's underneath her. I just see just dried blood.
Okay, just dried blood. Okay. Okay, is she still breathing? Is she still alert?
Yeah.
Okay, stay with her.
Yep.
Stay with her. Keep an eye on her. Hold on just a minute. Do not hang up, sir.
Okay, I will not. Any minute. Who did that to you? Or don't you want to talk?
And she didn't say who did this or how it happened?
I don't know if she wants to be talking. I started to ask her, and then
that's okay. If she's
got to save her energy, I think.
Okay, but you see nobody else around you. Are you clearly visible when they pull down that road towards the dead end that they'll see you?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Are you clearly visible when they come down there so they see you?
I got a strobe flashlight on my bicycle. I'll shine that towards any emergency vehicle I see. And I'll be standing in the middle of the road.
You're in the middle of the road, and where's she, in the side of the road?
Yeah, she's on the grass. It's a little trail I take on my bicycle.
Okay, see. Don't hang up, sir. Just stay right with me.
Okay.
And let me know immediately if you see anything else suspicious in the area, a car, a person, anything.
All right.
Keep your eyes open. Was anyone coming or leaving, or any cars coming or leaving when you came upon her?
No.
Nothing?
No.
So were you on foot walking by, or did you pull up in a car?
Bicycle.
You're on a bicycle?
Yeah.
How did you see her? Did you just...
She's right in the middle of the little path I take.
Middle of the little path. Okay.
Yeah. There's a squad car coming now.
Okay, the squad car coming? Okay, flag the squad car down, protect her.
Here he's coming.
Does she have a bike or anything with her?
No, I don't see it. One sandal is off, but, maybe 3 feet away from her.
Okay, flag that officer down. I'm going to let you go. Okay, you meet with him right now, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that the whole time you hear him talking her through it, trying to keep her calm, asking her, well, who did this and how did this happen?
Yeah, trying to understand
and then
too.
Even just, you can also hear just the I don't want to say panic, but the
worry,
nervousness and the worry for her. I also couldn't imagine one being her, but let alone being him coming across a young girl that just was stabbed, and then even hearing the dispatcher. Well, was there a car that was leaving? Were there suspicious persons? Because who else is gonna think it was young girls that just did this?
And that's what makes this so crazy. And I saw, because ABC did a 2020 episode on it. It was really good.
We should watch it. And
they talked to the detective that they called to... They dispatched, to show up. And he even said when he heard that over his radio, he was like, stabbed. A 12-year-old girl stabbed.
Well, especially the way
Waukesha, Wisconsin.
I was going to say, the way you described the town, small town. Yeah. Nothing like this happens.
Let alone a 12-year-old girl. Yeah. What? It's saying that she's stabbed by her friends.
That police department also, no matter who it is, probably isn't. They've probably never seen shit like this.
Yeah,
they've probably seen people get shot or stabbed. Yeah. But they're used to probably either gang violence, drug, whatever, shit like that.
Just other things that don't involve kids. Yeah, middle schoolers. Yeah. Well, and that's what's so crazy, because even when I was reading it, when I first ever heard of the case, I was shocked, because I'm like, what do you mean Slender Man stabbing? 2 girls stabbed their friend? Like, that to me was crazy. And then when I found out that they were 12, I'm like, what? That's insane. That's crazy. While that was happening, after the call, she was rushed to the hospital, and doctors would later say that it was a miracle that she survived, because
I can imagine 19 fucking stabs.
And 2 of those stab wounds came dangerously close to killing her. 1 missed a major artery near her heart by less than a millimeter.
Jesus Christ.
And the other one sliced her liver and diaphragm. So
Holy
imagine.
Fuck, bro.
Yeah. And I remember one of the interviews, they had said that the first stab, which was the one closer to near her heart, it was like less than how thin a paper is to how close it would have came to killing her.
Damn, bro. This was literally the grace of God. Just
no joke.
Like something higher just protecting the hell out of her.
And that's what's hard to wrap your head around it, because
she should be dead.
And
then even with the artery not getting hit, she should have just basically laid there and bled out, because
right.
Who the hell else is going to be in that area?
And she had the energy to get up and find help.
And
like, what a fucking fighter, dude. And on top of that, then while this is all happening, there's 2 girls, 12-year-olds, off to find Slender Man's mansion in Wisconsin.
Yes.
And they're really in this Delulu world that Slender Man was real. And they were convinced that if they didn't follow through, something much worse was going to happen to them. So while this is all happening, they're now searching for the girls. And they're nowhere to be found, nowhere at their houses.
So she told them at the hospital who did this to her?
Yeah, at this point, we know what's going on already.
Okay.
And so they're doing a worldwide, not worldwide, but they're doing a massive search. Canines, we're talking air view, land, everything. Because they're like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
We need to find the 2 girls. Where are they?
I also feel like everyone searching for these 2 girls probably is also still in disbelief that they did this shit.
No, they were. And when we watch the doc, you're going to be even in disbelief too. And you're going to understand it, because they all were who were a part of the case, who knew everything about it. They were like, huh? That just doesn't make any sense. And it's crazy too, because Anissa and Morgan's parents, they also couldn't believe it. They knew something was going on because the police showed up at their houses, but no one was saying exactly what had happened yet. So the whole time they're like, did somebody kidnap my baby? I think that was Anissa's mom that said, and then Morgan's mom was like, what is going on? They showed up to Morgan's house in all gear. Like, they're expecting the worst, because they have no idea what the fuck is going on. Yeah. So Anissa's mom even looked through her cell phone and ended up finding a goodbye note that she wrote in her cell phone.
What the fuck?
And it said, "This is my final wish. Do not grieve my absence, but remember for who I was. I love and cherish you all and wouldn't do you harm." That is what she wrote in her note.
This isn't 12-year-old action.
I know. I think this is kind of insane.
This is wild.
I know. Now, Morgan and Anissa were found hours later. I think they said they were found like 5 hours later, walking along the side of the highway. They found Morgan and Anissa sitting there by the freeway, and that's where a lot of their infamous interrogation footage comes in, and I'm going to show you tons of that. But Morgan's parents really just had no idea how serious that this was going to be, and honestly, no one even understood how serious this was going to be. The police at this point are thinking, 1, a stabbing, right? Let alone done by 2 12-year-old girls in Waukesha, Wisconsin. My guy, what?
Yeah, not believing it.
No. And 2, at this point, they're like, is this about a boy? Why else would 2 12-year-old girls do this?
Stab another girl?
Right. And it's crazy because we will cover other cases where they kind of label them mean girl cases because it's...
Yeah.
Whatever. They be fighting over a boy. Common. Now, when the girls were found, their clothes were stained with dirt, with blood. Their backpacks were loaded with snacks. They had water bottles and a copy of a childlike sketch of Slender Man's mansion in the woods. They playing Dream House.
I keep forgetting that this is all tied back to Slender Man. That's what just gets me. It's like murder case. Oh yeah, this is part of Slender Man.
I know, because the 2 don't really go hand in hand, which is what makes this story in this case crazy.
And wild.
Yeah. Now, they didn't really ask about Bella when they were picked up immediately. They didn't really cry. They were pretty calm. They didn't resist. They just went with it.
Bella, we know where you've been.
Bella, where the hell you been?
Run like hell. Yo, so this is literally their whole...
This is like, yep, their notebooks.
What the hell?
Which is crazy. And we're going to get into it because that's just a lot of the drawings and writings that they found in their notebooks of them pretty much praising Slender Man or just writing things down about Slender Man and who he was and drawing and yada yada and all this stuff. Now, when Anissa was being interrogated, you okay? You shaking your head?
Yo, you're in disbelief. This is wild.
I know.
Wild to me.
When Anissa was being interrogated, she fidgeted, she cried, she slouched like in her chair, and she was mumbling that she didn't want to talk about the bad stuff. But slowly she ended up opening up and unraveling and telling the whole story.
Would never guess.
Shocked. Now, she told police that she really believed Slender Man was real. They had to prove themselves worthy to him, and that if she didn't go through with the plan, that he was going to kill her, or worse, kill her family. She said they had to do it, and that Morgan was supposed to do the stabbing, and that she was just going to help. Now, Anissa admitted that she did research how to kill someone. Remember, she said that she read online, easiest way to kill a person is if they were asleep or unconscious, and not to look them in the eyes.
Also, who the fuck wrote that?
I know. I have no idea. I think in one of I'm telling you, the interviews are crazy because she's telling the story. She is like, they're asking her questions. She's answering them. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
I mean, she's 12. She also doesn't know what's going on. And which is another thing too, that I will say, because in Wisconsin, you are allowed to be interrogated without a parent present or an attorney present. 18? Yeah, and you can actually waive your rights. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, and they did because they didn't know any better. And
well, yeah,
and also
they're kids.
Yeah, and the police were saying in the interviews and the docs that a lot of the times it's easier to get the kids to talk when the parents aren't in the room, obviously, which I mean goes hand in hand, but also I get it.
Because it's one of those like, oh, if I say this in front of my parents, I'm gonna get in trouble. But
right,
if I say this to a cop, like,
right, they're supposed to be
me.
and they talk to me nice and they do all this stuff. But again, it's like I get it. Then it's also that's because in a lot of other states you can't unless you're 18 or older for obvious reasons. Right. Now she even admitted to trying to knock Bella out in the park bathroom before, and she even described the moment that she rammed her fist into Bella to try to knock her out, to try to make her unconscious. She even talks about the drain situation. Damn. Yeah, I know it gets intense. I'm gonna link everything because there's a lot of really great. 2020 ABC did one. HBO also has another great documentary on there as well that is for Slender Man. I watched that one too. It was so they have a bunch of interrogation.
Dude, you have the toughest job in the world.
I do. Thank you. Okay, I have to be a wife. And then there was this part that chilled detectives. And honestly, the whole interrogation is chilling. And you'll see why. There's so many things that she said that you wouldn't believe. You wouldn't believe. Okay, now one of the things that Anissa said was
she was gonna hide one place, I was gonna hide another, and then Morgan and I were gonna be like lionesses chasing down the zebra. I was gonna tackle her, and then Morgan was gonna do the stabbing.
Girl, sis.
Well, premeditated.
She said Morgan showed her the knife tucked into her waistband before they left for the park that morning.
She had the cracker.
She had the cracker. Anissa recalled saying to herself, "Dear God, this is really happening."
And then we said that we were going to play hide and seek. It happened really fast. I'm thinking, dear God, this is really happening.
Yeah.
You were the one that started all this shit, dude.
Well, and you know what's crazy? Because she was pointing the finger towards Morgan, saying that she was the one who did the stabbing and that she looked away most of the time because she just couldn't look. But they were both kind of doing that, and you'll see because I'm going to go into what Morgan's interrogation was like. But remember, she even said, remember when I said that Morgan... that she was too scared to do it, so she gave the knife to Morgan, and Morgan said, "You know what, I'll do it, just tell me when." Well, Anissa, in her interrogation interview, that right when Anissa said now, she was telling Morgan out loud, "Go ballistic, go crazy."
So I started walking away, and then like when I was 5 feet away, I said now. I'm like, I meant go ballistic, go crazy, make sure she's down.
And stabbing her.
Holy fuck, bro.
I know. And I'm telling you, in this interrogation video, she is saying this, which is insane. I know, which is insane.
My child.
Morgan's tone and her interrogation was different. She seemed a lot colder. She was also very more detached.
Yeah, she just fucking killed someone.
Right.
Well,
and that's...
She thinks she killed someone.
Well, yeah, because they don't know. They do. One of them did ask, like, is Bella alive or dead? And they're like, well, we'll just... because they didn't know at that time. She's undergoing surgeries or interrogating her. They're doing a bunch of stuff. Nobody really knows how bad this is going to be. She was a lot colder, often would make eye contact, and sometimes she wouldn't, but she described what would happen in clear, flat detail. But she also was shifting the blame towards Anissa as well. It was very much, well, I think Anissa said this.
She said.
Yeah, or I'm not sure. Or, well, Anissa said.
So did you guys talk about doing this beforehand?
Anissa told me we had to.
Why?
Because she said that he'd kill our families.
Who's he?
A man. I didn't know him, but Anissa knew him.
But they were both doing that. Clearly, they both had a part in it.
They're kids.
Yeah, they're kids. And she did admit to stabbing Bella, and she explained the plans and the knife and the decision. And when the detective asked her if she felt bad about stabbing her best friend, she said,
Did you feel bad that I just stabbed one of your best friends?
I thought about it, but then I decided that remorse will get me nowhere. It's easier to live without regrets.
Nah, something wrong with them. Holy shit, bruh.
They asked her again, what were you trying to do with her when you stabbed her? And Morgan straight up said,
What were you trying to do with her when you stabbed her?
Kill her. I might as well just say it. We were trying to kill her.
What?
Wait till you see the interrogation video.
What 12-year-old thinks this?
I know. And they even asked her, well, why Payton? Why Bella? And she says, I didn't pick her. Anissa did. So,
Yo.
Yeah.
Nah, this
I know.
Wild.
I know. She ends up saying in one of the interrogation videos, she's like, we said we were going to go play hide and seek. I didn't even want to do this. So they asked her, why did you then? And she's like, because I was afraid, because I was afraid what would happen if I didn't. So at this point, because she was speaking about Slender Man like he was a real life person.
Yeah, but who started telling her the ideas of Slender Man?
Anissa, I know. Well, Anissa was the one that introduced her to Slender Man.
Exactly.
Yeah. I know.
I'm not pointing the finger all on her because obviously something's
both,
also off. But like,
Yo. She even said that she had seen him in her dreams. She had described even seeing him standing behind her at school, watching her. She genuinely believed that he was going to hurt her or her family if she did not do this.
Yeah. I mean, I genuinely feel like if you believe in any folk tale hard enough,
right,
it'll feel real, except for dragons. I try to believe that. It just doesn't happen.
That one's a little bit tougher.
Yeah.
That one's a little bit tougher. But from the beginning, okay, we're going to move into what happens a bit after.
All right.
From the beginning, the legal side of this case has raised a huge uncomfortable question, okay? Should two 12-year-old girls be tried as adults?
Yeah. Premeditated murder, bro.
Well, and it sounds harsh because, I mean, it is. They're 12 years old. But here's how the law works in Wisconsin. If a child as young as 10 years old is charged with first-degree attempted homicide, the law requires that their case starts in adult court. That doesn't mean they can't eventually be moved back to juvenile court, but by default, they're treated as adults for crimes that serious. Morgan and Anissa were both charged with attempted homicide, which meant they were automatically bumped up to adult court, even though they were barely out of elementary school. That decision alone stirred a lot of the controversy in the town and everywhere, but the prosecutors argued that with the nature of the crime and how calculated it was and how violent it was,
they're thinking like adults.
Right, it's justifiable for the move. Now, the trials didn't happen right away. The girls spent years in psychiatric custody while evaluations were being done. Doctors, lawyers, mental health experts, you name it. Obviously, that's everything they have to check. They're all trying to figure out how the hell two middle schoolers ended up here.
Yeah.
Two 12-year-olds.
As anyone would.
Now, just to give some more perspective on Wisconsin in the law situation, because this is a huge issue, because at the end of the day, like, yeah, you say it out loud. Yeah, if someone at the age of 10 murders somebody, then they should be tried as adults, right? But then when it happens, it's kind of a, damn, that's... But
didn't
should
expect
we?
that to happen.
Yeah, like, should we? That sounds crazy, because a lot of people were, well, crazy, they should, but they shouldn't, but they should, but they shouldn't.
I also feel like you look at the facts of how they planned it, and that's where, to me, if it was, for example, if it was little Johnny and Benny and they're at their dad's house and they're playing with a gun and then one of them shoots and kills the other, that's still obviously homicide, but that to me is a different level.
Right. So in your eyes, you see it as the nature of the crime, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, a lot of people did. A lot of people didn't, because a lot of people saw it as, well, they're also just 12. But it's also, I mean, and then that was a rule that they placed because they were really trying to be strict with that. Like, hey, listen, we're going to put down the hammer on you. Don't matter the age. Okay. 10 and older, you done. Now, Wisconsin isn't the only state with laws like this, but not every other state handles juvenile crimes the same way, which I didn't know this, but some states allow judges more discretion. They can decide whether to move a case to adult court based on the circumstances. It could be mental health. It could be the age of the defendant, things like that. For example, in California and Massachusetts, my goodness, in California and Massachusetts, a 12-year-old would automatically be tried as an adult, even for something as serious as attempted murder. Now, those states usually require a hearing first to determine if the child is capable of understanding what they did and whether they can even be rehabilitated, which I didn't know that.
Which makes sense.
Right, I didn't know that too much, because usually a lot of the cases that I know about are adults, right? But in Wisconsin, the law is super strict. Like, if you're 10 years older, you're charged with something like attempted homicide. That's it, baby. You go straight to the adult court. Yeah. No hearing required. Which I'm like, okay, I kind of like the other states, but also I get it. I get it. Yeah, I get it. There's a reason why these laws are in place, right? This is pretty much what made this case so shocking and why so many people followed it so closely, because they weren't adults pretending to be children. They were children. And out of two of the girls, Morgan was seen as the driving force because she did the stabbing. She hid the knife. She grabbed the knife. She suggested, let's go to the park, yada, yada, this stuff.
She very straight on it. It's wild.
Exactly. And in the eyes of the court, despite her age, she was the one who needed to be held the most responsible.
Agree.
But as prosecutors prepared to try her in adult court, something else began to unravel. Morgan was actually diagnosed with early-onset schizophrenia.
Oh.
A condition so rare in children that some experts believe that it had gone unnoticed for years.
Damn.
Now, what makes this even wilder is that her parents actually did their interviews, or they're chatting, they're doing their stuff, and her dad actually has schizophrenia.
Damn.
But he takes his medicine. He's able to regulate it. He says that he can function fine. Yeah. And her mom, it's sad because her dad breaks down in the interview, and they're like, what can you say? What can you say? And he said he kind of also felt, you could tell he feels this kind of not this like heavy weight on his shoulders, because he feels like he gave this to her and he passed this down. And he said that they didn't really see any issues with her. Like, she wasn't really showing. She had been acting all fine and normal.
Little did they realize this whole time, her thinking she's seeing Slender Man is literally just her with a mental health issue.
Exactly. And they're probably saying, I was like, oh, she's into like creepy stories. I think her mom
not mental health, but mental disorder.
Yeah, a mental illness. You mean? Yeah. And her mom even said that when she was younger, she was kind of into stuff like that too. So she was like, okay, like, I don't see anything. There's no harm in it, which is sad, because a lot of times, in situations like that, that's kind of what happens. So, and so I thought that was just really interesting. Morgan reported hallucinations, paranoia, and hearing voices. She even told doctors that she still believes Slender Man could read her mind. And at one point, she even described feeling that Voldemort and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were real too.
I wish TMNT was real.
That would be a little bit interesting. In 2017, Morgan pleaded guilty to attempted first-degree intentional homicide, but was found not criminally responsible due to mental illness. She was sentenced to 40 years in a state mental health institution, which is the maximum allowed.
Yeah.
As of now, she remains at the Winnebago Mental Health Institute in Wisconsin. In 2024, Morgan petitioned for conditional release. She said she had made progress and no longer posed a threat. The petition was denied. But in early of 2025, this year, Morgan was granted conditional release, but the plan quickly unraveled. Officials proposed placing her in this Milwaukee area group home, but it was 8 miles from where Bella lives.
Oh, shit.
Which is, so you can kind of tell there. So Bella's family obviously objected, and the judge agreed that the victim's safety and the voice had not been adequately considered because, what the hell? Morgan's release was put on hold and she was temporarily returned to the Winnebago facility while a new release plan was drafted. Her next hearing is actually scheduled for July 17th of this year.
Oh, shit.
In a month or under a month. So for now, Morgan remains confined, awaiting a final decision, and they're kind of going over what the plan is, where she is going to live, what's going to happen.
What are we going to do? Yeah, that makes sense.
Anissa, who helped plan the attack, she was the one that introduced Morgan to Slender Man. She wasn't diagnosed with schizophrenia. She was actually diagnosed with shared delusional disorder. She wasn't hallucinating, but she believed everything that Morgan believed, and she truly thought that Slender Man would kill her and her family if they didn't act.
Well, shit.
Which is also another rare, I was reading, it's another rare mental illness, right? Because they both pretty much created this world in this bubble where that
was legit.
Yeah, and they were sharing this. Yeah.
Holy shit.
She pleaded guilty to attempted second-degree homicide and was sentenced to 25 years in a mental health facility. Now, in 2021, Anissa was granted conditional release after serving 7 years. She now lives with her father under GPS monitoring and psychiatric supervision. She'll remain under court oversight until at least 2039, unless something major changes or happens.
Yeah.
As for Bella, she survived, thankfully, and she's here to tell the tale. She underwent multiple surgeries, months of physical therapy, and years of emotional recovery.
I can fucking imagine.
Yeah. Doctors...
I would struggle so hard with trust after that.
Oh, yeah.
Who the fuck are you going to ever trust?
I'd be like, dude, I don't need any friends at this point. I'm just going to be me myself.
I'd be a fucking loner. I'd have a dog and that's it.
It'd be really hard. Well, doctors said that it was a miracle that she lived, and she knows it. In a rare interview with 2020, Payton said, "I feel like a survivor because I survived this crazy thing that shouldn't have happened. I shouldn't even be alive right now." She also said that she never suspected a thing. She said it was just a walk to the park, nothing unusual. I didn't think anything of it. What bad things ever happen in Waukesha? Which I'm like, that's so sad to even think that.
Yeah.
You're just going about your day because you're like, you could never even fathom that type of violence.
Jesus Christ, man. This is wild.
I know. And she was 12 at the time. So Payton eventually graduated high school with honors and quietly started college, studying to work in the medical field, hoping to help others the way the doctors have helped her.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's very nice. She chose to live a very private life away from the spotlight. And I mean, who
wouldn't? Yeah,
who wouldn't? Who would blame her? But despite everything, she found strength in her story. She accepted the scars, both physical and emotional. She even said in the interview, "I've come to accept all the scars that I have. They're just a part of me." I know. And it's crazy because in one of the most, heartbreaking yet powerful moments of her interview, she said that she forgives Morgan and Anissa, but she made one thing very, very clear. She said, "I never want to see them again. If she ever tried to come near me, she would go right back to where she was." So the fact that she could even forgive them is insane. That just tells you who she was as a person.
Wild.
She was such a good friend, and then they stabbed her. They were trying to kill her.
Yeah.
Which is sad because she even says in the interview, I wasn't expecting, I knew that they were kind of weird, but she was like, it's not a big deal.
And even in these photos though, she just looks totally separate from what you would imagine. Yeah. Like her friend group versus what their friend group. And it's not to say that people can't intermingle.
Yeah. But you're just saying just from looks.
Like her person. Yeah. It looks like her personality is a completely different type of personality than what theirs is.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That just sucks, man.
Well, and after everything she's been through, she still has trouble sleeping. She said that she kept a pair of broken scissors for 5 years after the attack, tucked under her pillow just in case. So imagine, oh my God, imagine that.
No, for real.
I feel for her because that's horrible. That is horrible.
You're terrified 24/7.
Yeah. And at this point, she doesn't just carry the weight of that past. She says that she owns it. And she even said, just because of what she did, I have the life that I have now. I really, really like it. And I have a plan. I didn't have a plan when I was 12. And now I do because of everything that I went through. I wouldn't think that someone who went through what I did would ever say that. But that's truly how I feel. Without the whole situation, I wouldn't be who I am. Girl.
That sucks.
Bella, what a
trooper though.
What a survivor, a fighter,
and a story to come off of.
That is just absolutely incredible, and I can't even believe.
And just to take so many negatives and turn them into positives.
Yeah, no, seriously, it's so true. So, how did you feel about today's episode?
I'll be honest. Every week, I have this little moment where I'm thinking, "Oh, how's she gonna knock my ass off of the park like she did last week? How is she ever gonna tell me a story that is gonna catch me so much more than the DuPont family or than this story or that story?" And then every fucking week,
Tom is a little
here
shocked.
I am, and I'm like, "What the fuck? Are you serious?"
Chicken.
Oh God, we watched Minecraft.
Steve's lava chicken. Yes.
All right, so I think this podcast episode's over.
No, I know. I do kind of overtop it every week. I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's not my fault that there's some crazy ass fucking stories out here.
Yo, could we just cover something happier?
I was thinking maybe the next one we cover is maybe a haunted house or something.
Yeah, let's do that.
It's a lot more lighter.
I heard my dad's house is haunted on the lake.
Dill, is your house haunted? I know you're listening right now.
No, my dad's never going to sleep again.
He's going to call us immediately after listening to this.
Also, happy birthday, Pops.
Yes, happy later birthday once you listen to this.
Yeah. And happy birthday to basically all the other family that we have that's June birthdays.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, thank you for listening to this episode this week.
Yes.
And please send in your stories. Let us know what you thought about today's episode because it is a doozy. It is a doozy.
Though. Please, y'all.
No, Tom has not been the same since our first listener stories.
No, you all keep messing me up with these.
It was a bit intense. It was a bit intense. Thank you for joining us today on Macabre Mondays. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you know more about today's episode or caught a detail we might have missed, let us know.
Wiki, it's your boy, Tom.
Lendy.
We'd love to hear from you. Seriously. If you have a story that's strange, sinister, or downright spooky, no matter how small you think it may be, I regret saying this now, send it our way. You can email us at macabremondayspodcast@gmail.com or head over to macabremondays.com to submit your story. Yours just might be featured in an upcoming listener episode, just like we previously just did.
Follow us on social media by searching Macabre Mondays for photos of today's episode, updates, and a little extra spooky fun. We'll see you next Monday for another sinister, strange, and spooky episode. Stay tuned. More mysteries just around the corner. But until then, lava, chicken.
No. See ya.
Steve's lava chicken, yes, tasty as hell.
Deuces.
Ooh, mama sees it.
Just say goodbye. Copyrighted.
Bye, everyone.
Deuces.
Stay curious and stay safe.
Peace. And
lava.
End it.
Yeah.